Sure, we all love life hacks about how to peel boiled eggs, keep our tacos from falling apart, and fluff up our pillows, but those are all pretty basic. In this video, we're going to talk about some simple tips that may just save your life someday. One life-enhancing tip is to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications for the latest from the hub. Always leave a note. You don't need J. Walter Weatherman to teach you this important life lesson. If you're going to be hiking or camping, it's a great idea to leave a note about where you're going and how long you plan to be gone. Just in case something goes wrong, people will know when and where to start looking for you. Reaching out. There is a phenomenon called the bystander effect, which means that the more people around you, the less likely it is that someone will actually help you if you need it. To get the help you need if you're in a bad situation, target one bystander specifically and tell them what you want them to do. "You in the blue coat, call 911" is going to work way better than simply yelling "help" and hoping someone steps up to the plate. Keep it in. If you find yourself impaled with a large object, you'll undoubtedly be tempted to pull it out as soon as possible. But your enemy here is blood loss, and pulling it out means that blood will start to flow out as well. Cover it up the best you can to prevent further bleeding and seek medical help immediately. Fired up. Ideally, you'll keep a fire extinguisher in your kitchen in case of an emergency, but this trick will help you if you don't have one. During a kitchen fire, dump a large amount of baking soda onto the flames. Heating the baking soda will cause it to become sodium carbonate, releasing carbon dioxide, which will smother the fire until it can no longer burn. Still getting service. You've probably seen that moment in every horror movie where someone tries to call for help but their phone just doesn't have signal. It turns out that you should try calling 911 anyway. Just because your provider might not get signal at your location doesn't mean that nobody else's does. The FCC mandates that providers transmit 911 calls regardless of whether or not you're using their service. This means that you can also use old phones that aren't associated with any provider if you're in an emergency situation and dialing 911. Bear with it. You might have heard to play dead if you're confronted by a bear, but that really depends on what kind of bear you're dealing with. Black bears tend to be shy and timid, so standing up tall and shouting at it will likely be enough to make it back off. If a black bear does attack you, your only hope is to fight back enough to make the bear decide you're not worth the trouble. Playing dead in this scenario could end up with you actually ending up that way. A grizzly bear, on the other hand, is the animal you don't want to even try to fight with. Play dead by laying on your stomach with your hands behind your neck. Life vest. If you're on a plane you believe is going to crash in the water, it probably seems like a good idea to get your life vest on and inflate it as soon as possible. But the opposite is true. Once the plane hits the water, you're going to want to get out of it as soon as possible. And doing so in a fully inflated life vest, it's going to be really difficult to say the least. Put your life jacket on, but wait until you're out of the plane before inflating it. Proper position. If you're worried about making it, you'll want to learn the proper bracing position. Bend forward as far as possible and keep your head down. Keep your feet flat on the floor and slide them back as far as you can. Place your dominant hand on the back of your neck and protect it by placing your other hand over it without interlocking your fingers. This way, if your hand gets broken, it will likely be your less useful hand, allowing you to use your useful hand to get out of your seatbelt and out of the plane. Staying warm. If you're stranded in a cold and snowy situation, it might seem like eating snow is a great way to stay hydrated. However, you'd be doing more harm than good since your body would be using precious energy to turn that snow into water. Sure, you'll get more hydrated, but you'll lose valuable body heat in exchange. Try to melt the snow yourself outside of your body before you take a drink. Packing smart. It may seem a bit odd, but it's a good idea to bring a few maximum strength antihistamines with you anytime you visit somewhere new. You never know when you'll encounter something you're allergic to, especially if you're camping or hiking out in the wilderness. Hopefully, you won't ever have to use any of these tips, but it's best to remember them just in case. Thanks for watching our video. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe before you head off on your next adventure. See you next time.